afternoon and welcome to Unity Fort Worth. I invite you to rise as you feel able and let's sing together, I Am the Thinker. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes the things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts. I have the power to change my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes the things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts. I have the power to change my life. If you ask me who am I am wisdom, I am light, I am more than meets the eye, I cannot be defined. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes the things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts. I have the power to change my life. If you ask me what am I am beauty, I am joy, I am more than meets the eye, I cannot be defined. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes the things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts. I have the power to change my life. I can choose to be the light that brightens someone's darkest night. I am more than meets the eye. I cannot be defined. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes the things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts. I have the power to change my life. I have the power to change my life. I have the power to change my life. What a great affirmation. Awesome. Let's take a moment and say hello to one another. Say hello to someone that you know. Say hello to someone that you don't know. If you see anybody new, make sure to say hello to them. Say hi to the folks watching from home on the camera because they're here too.
Good afternoon.
All right, and you're welcome to sit down and be comfortable. We're going to sing another song together, the sweet song of peace. If every man in the world had his mind set on freedom, if every man in the world sang a sweet song of peace, if every man in every nation, young and old, each generation, would join hands in the name of love, there'd be no more war. If every woman in the world had her mind set on freedom, if every woman in the world sang a sweet song of peace, if every woman in every nation, young and old, each generation, would join hands in the name of love, there'd be no more war. If every child in the world had his mind set on freedom, if every child in the world sang a sweet song of peace, if every child in every nation, young and old, each generation, would join hands in the name of love, there'd be no more war. If everyone in the world had their mind freedom. If everyone in the world sang a sweet song of peace, if everyone in every nation, young and old, each generation, would join hands in the name of love, there'd be no more war.
Good afternoon and welcome to Unity of Fort Worth, where our vision is to be a vibrant community, powerfully transforming our world through personal and shared spiritual awakening. I'm Sue, and I'm serving as your platform chair today. We are so happy to have you all with us and want to extend a special welcome to any newcomers. Thank you for being a part of our community today. If you didn't receive a welcome packet on your way in, raise your hand and an usher will bring one to you, or you can pick one up on your way out after the service. You may also stay connected with us in fellowship after the service today and join us for more Sunday services and community events in the future. We're on the third week of diving into the 5 principles, the foundational teachings of unity. As you were all coming in, you should have received a wallet-sized card with you with the 5 principles listed on it. If you didn't receive one, we have plenty at the welcome table for you to pick up after the service. We hope you'll find it a useful reference as you practice using the principles in your daily life. Today we have Dr. Nancy Little with us. Dr. Little is a regular speaker here at Unity Fort Worth and a few other Unity communities around the Metroplex. And we're so grateful to have her with us again today. She is here to lead us in discovering the creative power of our thoughts, which is our third principle. Let's say together now. Okay. We are co-creators with God, creating reality through thoughts held in mind. Now, let's hear today's word read by Patty.
Today's word is guidance. Today we affirm, I know what to think, feel, say, and do. Let's say it together. I know what to think, feel, say, and do. Guidance is not an outside-in activity. It is an inside-out knowing. If I am feeling lost or uncertain about which way to turn, I can take comfort in knowing that I can pray and bring my awareness to my innate divinity. This simple act synchronizes my humanity with my divinity. I become aligned with principle and law. Whenever I am on my life's journey, I remember the principles of discernment, understanding, and will. I use these powers to know what to think, feel, say, and do. Even so, it is still up to me to act. I commit to remaining open and receptive to my inner knowing, which is fundamentally grounded in my divinity. Even if the knowing or feeling in my heart surprises me, I trust my still small voice over the more limited voice of personality. I proceed with conviction. Today's scripture verse is from Isaiah chapter 58, verse 11. The Lord will guide you confidently and satisfy your needs in parched places, and make your bones strong, and you shall be like a watered garden, like a spring of water, whose waters never fail. The affirmation again, I know what to think, feel, say, and do. Together, I know what to think, feel, say, and do.
a message to myself so that when I hear it on the radio, I will know that I am fine. I will know that I am loved. I warned myself of the blackness in my chest, the razors in my heart would never rest. It's funny how you find just what you see. Love is what you get. When love is what you speak, I'm sending out a message to myself so that when I hear it on the radio, I will know that I am fine. I will know that I am loved. I made every choice along the way. Each day I spent in hell, I chose to stay. It's funny what you fear can make you weak. Truth is what you get. When truth is what you speak, I'm sending out a message to myself so that when I hear it on the radio, I will know that I am fine. I will know that I am loved. So if you are listening, I am just passing through. You can take some for yourself, 'cause it works that way too. Sha la 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 la. Sha la 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 la. I will know that I am fine. I will know that I am loved. I'm sending out a message to myself so that when I hear it on the radio, I will know that I am fine. I will know that I am loved. I'm sending out a message to myself so that when I hear it on the radio, I will know that I am fine. I will know that I am loved.
Thank you, Beverly and Alan. Now let me introduce or reintroduce to you Dr. Nancy Little, a licensed professional counselor since 1983 in Texas. Dr. Nancy Little counseled thousands of clients in her part-time private practice and her counseling position at the University of North Texas. As a professional speaker, author, and online trainer, Dr. Little leads both virtual and in-person programs on mental health and wellness-related topics as a consultant. She developed the content for the Unity Worldwide Spiritual Institute Self-Care course in 2017 and taught the online class. Dr. Little published her second book, Energy Sparks, to recharge, refresh, and revitalize in 2020. And her book was designated as the required text for her class. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Nancy Little.
Can you take this? Good morning. It's, afternoon. It is hard to switch. I've been practicing, and I still let it slip back into the morning. The power of our thoughts, the power of our habits. We're going to explore that today. But I'm going to begin with a snippet from this little book, As a Man Thinketh, by James Allen. Part of his book, the first part, was published in 1903. I did a little research to see if he and Charles Fillmore actually met. There's not any clear evidence that they did, but they were writing and speaking on the power of the mind at about the same time. They definitely influenced each other. On Fillmore Faith, operated by Reverend Mark Hicks, who delves into the details of the Unity movement and its unfoldment, he had a lecture by Charles Fillmore where he referenced James Allen. So anyway, just a little context for this. In the foreword, this is what James wrote. This little volume, the result of meditation and experience, is not intended to be an exhaustive treatise on the much written about subject of the power of thought. It is suggestive rather than explanatory, its object being to stimulate men and women to the discovery and perception of the truth that they themselves are makers of themselves. They themselves are makers of themselves. By virtue of the thoughts which they choose and encourage. That mind is the master weaver, both of the inner garment of character and the outer garment of circumstance. And that, as they may have hitherto woven in ignorance and pain, they may now weave in enlightenment and happiness. Just breathe that in for a moment. It says everything that we know to be true and that we believe as part of our unity principles and teachings. So this British thinker, author, writer, he was a part of this grand movement that brought us to where we are going to begin today with the power of thought. And my idea, which really goes perfectly with the readings from today that Patty did and the message from the music that we take in, that it's an inside job first. It's first internal, and then we manifest the circumstances in the external. So, beloved friends, I love this. I love this principle. I love these ideas that can have such a profound impact on our lives at a time where many of us, including me, desperately need a few boosts, a little encouragement, a little uplift, a way to be more at peace in this world that can feel somewhat chaotic. This spiritual principle is one of the most empowering spiritual truths. And aren't we seeking ways to feel more empowered? And I want to be empowered to move the slide. Yes, I do. There we go. And there it is. There is that beautiful principle that we are going to delve into a little more deeply. We create our experience by the activity of our thinking. Everything out there, where does it begin? Boop. In our heads, in our thoughts. And there's lots of reasons why that happens. And it's not about blame. It's not about beating ourselves up. We're already too accomplished at that for the most part. But what we want to look at is how we can transform that landscape. What do we need to do differently or more, so that we have that experience of having externally represent the truth of who we are. We want to co-create with Spirit, do we not? That's what we're doing here as we learn and grow and evolve. So this isn't just some kind of fancy theory either. It really is an invitation to move forward in a very significant way that's empowering and productive. So what is this slide? There, whoops. Did we go an extra one? Okay, thank you. Thank you, thank you. So thoughts are creative energy. We have the opportunity to create these magnificent sparks and to generate the energy to really transform our lives. Now, you all have seen me do this before. My glasses go on for the slides, but I have to take them off if I glance at my notes. So one of our most profound statements is that thoughts in mind produce after their kind. What does that even mean to you? It means that our thoughts shape our reality. And neuroscience supports this. This is an area that has been incredibly well researched. And fortunately, thankfully, we're learning more about how our actions support our well-being or take it down the wrong road, take it to a place we don't want to be. Neuroscience tells us that we literally shape our brains by those thoughts that we nurture, those thoughts that we put on repeat. Remember in the old days when we had record players and you could play the same record over and over again just by moving the arm in a certain position? Maybe some of you are too young, but this was my experience. And sometimes it's like we have those thoughts on repeat, that we play those same old worn out, dreary records over and over. But we want to impact those cells that fire together, wire together. But we want to interrupt anything that is not serving us well. And we can do that by thinking different thoughts, by engaging in different activities. So this is something that Emerson wrote about, Ralph Waldo Emerson, in the last century, and was profound, that we become what we think about all day long. And I'll have more examples about this as we move forward. Now, is this telling you that you can't have emotions, that you can't feel your feelings, that you can't have sadness or anger, or you can't feel discouraged? Absolutely not. We have those feelings, and they are temporary. And we can remind ourselves that this is not my life. This is not all of my life, but we want to be coherent. And if you're saying continuously, oh, everything's fine, that's not always coherent. It is incongruent to say one thing when you're feeling something totally different. And in my intro, you heard about my background as a mental health professional. This month, June, is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. Now that says a lot, but what does it really mean? It just means that for men, but really for all of us, any opportunity that we can utilize to call attention to being true to who you are is invaluable. It's important. You can feel your feelings. You don't have to discount what's inside of you. In fact, I have a recommendation for you. If you're having one of those days or weekends or weeks, whatever the case may be, there's a Louise Hay. It's a 27-plus minute video. You know Louise Hay, the fabulous author, writer, that gave us so much wisdom about recreating our lives. But she has this video on YouTube called There Are Days When, no, she says there are days when everything feels heavy. Can anybody relate to that? There are days I mean, if you've had the misfortune of turning on the news, you probably had a moment of heaviness. And maybe your shoulders sagged a bit because you just had to take some deep breaths to process what's going on. But this is what it's called. You are going to be okay. Words to live by on hard days. Don't you just love that? And I watched it yesterday as I was preparing for this talk, and it truly was transformative, because what we want to do is choose those thoughts that nourish and support us. So think of a time when you were going through something. Maybe your doctor called you back after some test results and said, I want you to come back for more tests. Or you got a call about a payment that had been missed, and they wanted payment, and you didn't have the money in your bank account to make it. But you worried. But remember how your body felt when you started thinking those thoughts and you got caught up in it? Your breath gets a little short and tight, right? Or maybe your heart rate speeds up, but you feel all these physiological symptoms. But if somebody came and sat with you and offered reassurance, or you called Silent Unity for prayer support, or the prayer line here at Unity Fort Worth, you noticed that something changed internally. Now, did your circumstances change? No, but you had that sense of hope. So this is how we transform our lives, by changing our thoughts. Okay, so just imagine that you have a garden in your mind, and I brought some seeds. I love flowers. I just came back last month from a trip to Europe where I got to see countless beautiful flowers. And think of the seeds that you are planting. So as we tend to our garden of our mind, those thoughts, those words that we choose, those are seeds that we are planting. So what are you nurturing? Jesus said, it is done unto you as you believe. That belief, that mindset, that's repeated thought. What are you telling yourself? Are you telling yourself that your best days are behind you and that now you're on this steady downhill decline, as one of the ladies that attended one of my programs was telling herself? Wow, that would be unsettling, would it not? Are you telling yourself that the best days at Unity of Fort Worth, where you experience prosperity and joy and a vibrant community, that those best days are gone, and now, who knows? It really affects how we progress, how we show up, depending on which way we're planting seeds. So imagine those beautiful seeds. I have one seed that I found that I want to plant, and it's peace. It's a peace stone that somebody gave me. I have other stones like this. One says love, one says faith, one says compassion. Those are the kind of seeds we want to plant in our spiritual gardens. The other weeds, the judgment weeds, the critical weeds, the fear, that sense of unworthiness, those are weeds that are going to choke out the ability of what we do want to grow to flourish. Weeds. My dad taught me a lot about weeding because I was kind of the yard girl, the lawn girl in my family. Anybody else get the responsibility of taking care of the lawn? Well, he was very emphatic about with weeds. You had to really get under it and sometimes even moisten the soil so that when you pulled it out, you pulled out the whole thing. You didn't leave anything behind. Because what happens if you don't get all of it? It comes back. What we want comes back. If you can let that weed, that negativity, that critical thinking be replaced by a more empowering and positive thought, your garden, your mind can flourish. And we also know that what happened in the past, I've made mistakes in my past. Anybody else have something that you wish you could have a magic do-over for? Yeah, but those are not the things that we need to focus on. They don't predict your ultimate outcome. When I was in 7th and 8th grade, I started making D's and F's in school. There was a lot going on in my life, in my family, in the school. Now, you've heard that I have a few letters after my name and things like that. Do I look like somebody that was a highly likely flunk out of middle school person? No, that didn't predict my future. Other things didn't predict my future either. But sometimes we get all caught up in fear. I had an agreement with my employer of one of my first full-time jobs that we were going to part ways and go our own mutual ways. I was not a good fit to be his legal secretary. He was not a good fit to be my employer because the secretary before me was now pregnant and he was divorcing his wife and marrying her. And can I just get you to imagine how his mood was during those days? But I worried that it would haunt me, that evermore that would be on my record. I could have let that really, really impacted me. But I did what people in my counseling master's program did. I got a little counseling, and I did what I could do, and I let it go. It did not predict my future. And so no matter what mistakes you've made in the past, we can let those go. We don't have to perseverate. Okay, so moving right along. There we go. I talked before about no blame, but we want to heighten our awareness. You know, when we call things back up, it's not to feel bad about it. But sometimes as we walk up the spiral staircase of our lives and we reflect, we begin to see things differently when we can see it from a higher perspective. And that's healing. That's the way that we want to proceed in our spiritual evolution. We realize even more fully that everything that happened, both the things that we're proud of and the things that we wouldn't exactly put out on social media, that all those things came together to make us the beautiful spiritual being that we are now. And I will just throw in that these ideas that are expressed in this third unity principle are very similar to cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. Maybe some of you have heard of it. Maybe you've experienced. They're very meshed together. And some of the other psychological principles support the same truths, that our thoughts shape our experience. So they may be called different things, like when we talk about CBT, we may call that a limiting or a negative belief. In unity, we may refer to it as error thinking, but they really mean the same thing. And it's calling us to move forward so that we can realize our fullest potential and the most joy for our life. Okay. So, moving forward, we have a creative cycle that is so important. We are creators in so many ways. And I am so touched to recall that when I was picking my word for my white stone on January 1st or 3rd or whatever it was, my word for this year is creator. And it has served me so well. I carry it in my purse, and every now and then I have to look at it, take it out and hold it, and remember, I am the creator of my experience. I am the creator of my world. What am I tuning into? And how is that going to affect me? So when we look at the creative cycle, we move from our thoughts to our feelings, to our beliefs, to our actions, and then our experience. That's the process. The thoughts that accumulate affect how we feel about ourselves, and then they shape the opinion that we have. And I have worked with so many people that felt they were not deserving, that they didn't argue or question why, in their words, bad things kept happening to them. And it was like, well, I'm flawed. You know, there's something about me that is not worthy. And then when we continued that, our experiences reflect those thoughts. So how do we shift that? How do we change that? You know, we want to shift it by doing what we do in Unity, having the process of denial. Like we do in the burning bowl on New Year's Eve. We let go of those beliefs, those words, those labels that we use to describe ourselves that we know are no longer accurate, or that other people are saying, that is simply not true. You are not X. Rather, I see you as this vibrant, brilliant, totally creative, exceptional human being. My life and the world would not be the same without you. Those are the ways that we need to create and move forward. And Norman Vincent Peale, who did more than anybody to be known as the master of positive thinking, said that if you change your thoughts, that you change your world. You know, I know there was a time in my life when I was going through, whatever you call it, young 20s, right? And I was finishing up my master's degree and I was deciding what's next. And I had been in a relationship that was faltering, and you get the story. And my dad said to me, you need to read Norman Vincent Peale. And I thought, what? What? And he had the book on the bookshelf, and I still have that copy of that book. It is profound. So we continue to look for ways to build on our strength, build on our power. So what do we do? What are the concrete things we can do? We come to Unity on Sundays, or we watch online. Welcome to all of you that are joining us virtually. We join groups, and we engage in a way through our actions that give us that forward momentum. It can look in a lot of different ways, but when we align with divine mind, that means that we're opening our hearts to possibilities. We're listening to those gentle nudges. We're accepting that there are other possibilities for us, and it gives us a light that we share with other people. When you are feeling alive, when you are feeling capable, when you are engaged in accurate and true statements about yourselves that we call affirmations in Unity, you attract the people, the situations, the circumstances that you want and that you deserve. So it's not that it's a magic wand. My granddaughter has a little pink starry magic wand. It's not that. But it is claiming and knowing that we have access to an unlimited supply of good, that we are good. So we align with the divine. We get our thinking right. We get our prayer time in, whether that means praying with another person, calling silent unity, praying with a chaplain on Sunday, or creating a prayer partner, or just our own personal prayer time. But we focus on our spiritual consciousness, and that is transformative. So we know that we can really make those shifts. During COVID in particular, when I was doing a lot of online training, I spoke with people that said to me, and they were in corporate settings, and they were sharing this online. I woke up this morning and I burst into tears. I just couldn't face the day. I felt overwhelmed before my feet even hit the floor. There was some heaviness then too, right? Remember? And yet, as she began to shift and create some affirmations, personalized statements for herself, I am wisdom. I have all the tools I need to meet my daughter's needs. I can work and live in the same place. As she began a series of affirmations, things began to change. She began to see a shift, and she felt more grounded and more secure. It's so important that we are wise. Wisdom allows us to create the kinds of thoughts and to attune to that Christ spirit, that we awaken our inner Christ. It's not there for some people. It's there for all of us. It's there for all of us. And I know at times it's hard to wrap my mind around, and I'm sure it is for you too. It is the truth. In Think and Grow Rich, author Napoleon Hill said, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. There's countless references to this kind of wisdom and process. So let's look at some truth-centered affirmations that we can incorporate into our day, into our mornings, into our bedtime, or maybe just any time. You know, I have a Fitbit, and it goes off at 10 till every hour, 14 hours a day. Every time it hits 10 till, it's a great place for an affirmation, right? Sometimes it's a great time to get up and walk. I am less inclined to walk around the block right now than I am in some more temperate weather, right? But I find a way. So the affirmations, I am guided by divine wisdom. Will you affirm that with me? I am guided by divine wisdom. Let's go to the next one. Peace flows through me now. Together, peace flows through me now. And last, I am a creative channel for good. Together, I am a creative channel for good. Beautiful, beautiful. So we don't have a life sentence. Whatever our life has been, it's not the end of the road. We have so much to look forward to. If you are still living and breathing and moving and you were able to get here this morning, yay! Afternoon, that's a good thing. That's a great thing. And I have an affirmation. As long as I can move, I will move. As long as I can go out and play, I will go out and play. As long as I can feed myself nourishing food, I will take in the foods that nourish me, that make my body feel good, that give me energy. So we change our thinking by declaring our truths through affirmations, through our denials, gently releasing beliefs, error beliefs, let those go. Meditation, listening for inner guidance, and our spiritual community, which serves us in so many ways, but there are people here that help reflect back to you what is true. those limiting beliefs, we definitely do not need those anymore. And we're not those stories. We're not those stories as we've already understood. And from the Bhagavad Gita, we read, he who believes, so he is. That's an ancient Hindu text. It is true. These are all different kinds of truths that can inspire us for action. Okay, so we've talked about the denials and the affirmations. I release the belief that I am alone. Some of us are feeling that at times. But we can replace that with I am always supported. I have access to people and videos and wisdom and sources and texts that nourish and support me. So I invite you this coming week and in the remaining parts of June to do the things that you know how to do, that you watch your thoughts, notice your thoughts, question the ones that don't seem to give you a good feeling. Let those go. Choose to plant some new seeds. What seeds are you going to water? And trust that with Spirit that you can become an instrument of peace, creativity, and joy with those thoughts. So let's take all of this wisdom and begin to move into the sacred space of meditation. So let's just recall for a moment the heart of Principle 3. Human beings create their experiences by the activity of their thinking. Wow. What a powerful and empowering idea. That means you can make the shifts that you need. It's a sacred responsibility as well as a spiritual gift. Take a deep cleansing inhale breath through your nose and release through your mouth as you affirm, I am divinely supported. I am blessed. And as I recognize my inner divinity, I also know my humanness. I'm here to express God as me, a part of spirit in its infinite variations. I am the creator of my experience. What I believe comes to me. What I perceive becomes real. I am co-creating my life, this world. I play a part. And I lean in this sacred space and listen. Listen to the voice of Spirit, giving me a gentle nudge, a sweet insight of what I am to know today in the quiet. as we begin to move back into this time and space, remember the image of your mind as a garden. What do you need to weed? And what do you annul to take root? Where are you putting your energy? What are you watering? What are you fertilizing? Faith attracts success. You have all the tools you need to create the most magnificent garden with radiant sun, beautiful light, and flourishing plants of all varieties. And we express our deep gratitude for this truth and for this knowing. And so it is. Amen.
It's in every one of us to be wise. Find your heart, open up both your eyes. We can all know everything without ever knowing why. It's in every one of us, by and by. It's in every one of us to be wise. Find your heart, open up both your eyes. We can all know everything without ever knowing how. It's in every one of us, here and now.
What a blessing to have Dr. Nancy Little with us today. Please join me in thanking her for being with us and sharing her message. We have more great music coming up in just a moment, but during the song, we appreciate you taking the opportunity to contribute a love offering in support of our wonderful community. Your donations make it possible to fulfill our mission to provide a safe space for all of us to experience spiritual growth and realize both individual and collective divine potential. And we are deeply grateful for your generosity. You can give your love offering to an usher coming around or click the link to contribute online. We'd love for you to consider setting up automatic giving to provide sustainable support for our community. In whatever way you choose to share your gift, we are so grateful as we bless our love offerings together. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am grateful.
My soul crashed into my body, falling into consciousness. said just turn it off when you leave. Slow, slow, this river is slow. We're all out here on our own. Roll, roll, gently we roll. One day we'll find our way home. Step after step, they drew me a town. They drew me a fear and a need. They drew me a gun, and they drew me some money, hiding the truth far from me. I asked only a dream.
Join our outreach volunteers this coming Friday, June 27th, from 9:30 to 1:30 to help out at the indoor food distribution at the Four Saints Food Pantry. Stay cool while you help feed neighbors in need. What a great way to spend a Friday morning this summer. Join our volunteer team using the link or QR code to get information and reminders about all the opportunities to be of service. And to close out our announcements, we want to express our sincere gratitude to everyone who organized, pitched in, and attended our Papa Charlie's Coffee House event last night. There was lots to enjoy, from great performances to awesome original songs to yummy treats and, of course, time spent together. Special thanks go to the project team who has been working since April to plan this great event. Would those who were part of the team stand up so we can recognize you? We're looking forward to doing it again soon. We'll let you know when we have a date picked for it, so stay tuned. It's been such a gift having you with us today. Join us for fellowship in the lobby after service. We'll see you all again next Sunday for our service at 1 p.m. as we explore our fourth principle with Reverend Eliza. Until then, stay safe, be well, and have a wonderful week. To sing our peace song, followed by the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. Power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is.